So this is the meeting tonight is the first of two meetings that we are going to be having to present the design to everybody. This work focuses primarily on the exterior work as well as the program spaces on the first floor, so ground floor, as well as the basement. Can we please advance this slide? So this was a banner that you're seeing right now is on the screen, but it shows, for those that are calling in, what it does, it shows where we are in the process. We're basically midway through the process. The process started a little over a year ago in June with two kickoff meetings in June 2019. From there, what we did is we hosted a number of workshops on specific issues to try and really address what was at the heart of 220 Oak Street. We also had a number of deep dive workshops, is what we call them, one-on-one conversations with individuals, with user groups, with concern groups as well, just to try and gain a better understanding of exactly culture, life issues, pressing issues, problems, successes, anything that worked, anything that didn't work. And we tried to put them all together and then present them back. And we presented them back almost about a year ago in the basement of Sands. And we tried to catalog absolutely everything and just echo it back so that everybody knew that where they stood and the issues at hand. We were planning on coming back and doing this sooner, but this global pandemic hit, and this turned the best laid plans that we had on its head. So what we had to do is in the interim, the architects were furiously working and have been working quite hard to actually move forward certain portions of the design as we tried to get a better handle on exactly how to come back to people. So where we're at right now, though, is we are at a place where we would like to share what we have and hear back. Can we please go into slide? The points of concern that we were trying to push into were four main topics. The first being accessibility, the second being safety and security, both at the building and on the grounds. The next being exterior spaces, and the final one, a community and programming. And we felt that these broad topics were a good way for us to gain a better understanding of how to dissect everything and then put everything back together. The additional item that you see actually on your screen, but is your home and your individual apartment. But we will be dealing with that in the winter, in early 2021. And so with that, I'd like to now turn it over to Chantel, who's a project architect at LGA, and a heck of a person. And I've enjoyed working with her for the past year and a half, getting to know every one of you at 220 Oak Street, as well as everybody that is connecting with us. So with that, Chantel, if you will.
Thanks, Adam, and thanks everybody. It's so exciting to see so many 220 Oak Street residents virtually here, if not in person, on the phone, etc. And so, as Adam said, we had a bunch of workshops and we took reams of notes, and I think all those notes and workshop minutes are displayed in the classroom that you've got on the ground floor. But I just want to bring it back to the timeline, which is one of the items in the mailer that you would have received this week. And so it shows how we're at the green spot. We're at the middle of our project now. So we've heard a bunch of information from you. and done a bunch of investigations, and now we're starting to present back the things that we've seen. And so this meeting is going to be about the ground floor, the basement, and stuff that's happening outside. And then in the winter, we're going to come back, as Adam said, and talk about what your building will look like once we put a new overcladding on it, like a big warm coat, and your windows, and also, yeah, and that's it. And what will happen inside your unit, what you can expect during construction that will be actually in your apartment. And so everybody, if you received your mail and you got some flyer from us in the mail, you can take that out and unfold it. And we're going to start on the first page. And if you don't have it yet, you'll be getting it soon. And you can look at it then. And the first page shows the site plan. So this is like the plan of the front of the outside of your building. And so you can look at that, especially if you're on your phone right now and it's hard to see on the screen. And so on the site plan, we're going to start in the front of the building. So this area that's highlighted in red. And so just to help situate you, that is where the front door, we're going to start with the front door and the road along the front of the path. And we all know what your front door looks like and what that driveway looks like, or that roadway. And what we're planning for that area is to make a new Wheel-Trans drop-off area, so making the roadway wider, so there's space for 2 Wheel-Trans buses to stop, cutting the curb and redoing all of the sidewalk space so the whole thing is accessible. And you can easily get in and out of taxis and Wheel-Trans areas and wheel groceries and things like that. We're also looking at putting a big canopy over the whole thing so that you'll be protected as you're waiting outside for taxis and things like that. And also more seating so that there's places to sit while you're coming and going and waiting for things. Across the street in front of the building, we're going to put some bike shelters, so you'll have more space to lock up bicycles outside that are protected from the elements. And we're also going to have improved lighting, so there'll be more lights and more visibility, so you'll be able to see what's going on better, as well as just redoing the whole front entrance so that it's more welcoming and more exciting to be home. If we move now to the green space, the park that's kind of on River Street, between River Street and Oak Street, for that space there, we're planning to add a new crosswalk so you can get there from 220 Oak Street a lot more easily with curb cuts and make it more accessible. And we're going to redo the paving in that park too, so that all the pavers are easier to get around on. We're going to add a bunch of seating and some gathering spaces so people can meet up together and talk and watch the day go by, feed pigeons if they really want to. In the grass space that's in front of the building, kind of that no man's land grass space where things fall from the sky, in that area, we're going to make a new path to the backyard that is not too close to the building but goes around. And we're going to get rid of those bushes that are there that propose there's a bit of garbage and security concerns there. And we're going to add a lot of seating and more benches so that people can sit on that side too. We're also going to widen the sidewalks so that they're really large, so there's lots of space for people to pass each other as they're walking by with their bikes or with their mobility devices or walking with their friends, so that there's a lot more ability for people to move in and out and approach the building. We're also going to add in this grass space a new outdoor gym. So for all of those people that were really excited about having some sort of outdoor workout area, that's where we're proposing that location to have some gym equipment for folks. We're also going to add a lot more lighting in that area so that it's more brightly lit at night or in the evenings, and it just feels safer and more secure for the security cameras and such. If we talk about the back of the building now, then we'll start with the parking lot. So there's 2 parking lots in the back. There's one that's up high and one that's just outside the building on grade. And the one that's just outside the building, right now all the contractors park there, so all the people that come and work on the building, and I think some TCH people, they all park in that area. But we're going to change it. We're going to change that parking lot up a bit and change the shape of it slightly so it's better. And we're gonna make it so that it's for visitor accessible parking. And so that means that if you're coming to visit the site or coming to visit 220 Oak Street, you can park there and walk and get into the building. We're gonna make a new entrance off the back of the building that's also accessible so that you don't have to go all the way around to the front, and it makes it a lot easier for people visiting or people dropping off friends and family to stop to park back there and get in and out of the building. And more rest areas. If we talk about the garbage area in the back, we're gonna do some changes to that area too. We're gonna move the garbage cans further away from the building, so that should help with odors and with mess. We're gonna make new enclosures and try to repave the whole thing so it's nicer, and so that the move out and move in room is easier to get to and not as crowded. We're also gonna improve the lighting in that area. If we talk about what we're gonna do, there's this grass space. Maybe you might even not know that it's part of Oak Street property, but there's this little grass space right to the north of the raised parking area. And so kind of between the parking area and the other building, there's part of that grass space belongs to the other building, but part of that grass space belongs to 220 Oak. And so we're proposing to put a dog off-leash area in that grass space. And so we're gonna put a fence up, and we're gonna put the right kind of stuff on the ground so that it's good for dogs. And we're gonna make a little pathway around so that you can go around on the pathway, and it's all gonna be barrier-free, and a fence around it too, so that you can take your dogs there and they can walk about, and you can have sort of a space to bring them that's closer to the site. The garden area, the last area is the garden area in the back, which is, as you know, kind of way off to the south of the building, and kind of part of the co-op and part of 220 Oak Street. And so we're proposing in those areas to make some barrier-free garden plots. So that means like people that can't lean over or can't get down on their knees and garden, there'll be some raised planters so that you can go up to it and you can sit on your walker, you can stay on your mobility device, and you can still reach far enough that you can do some gardening like that. We're also going to redo the pathways so that they're all easier to navigate. And in the back area where the grass is, we're going to make we're going to refinish that area so that it's more welcoming and have more picnic benches and gathering space down there too. And so that's the outside of the building. Now we're going to move into the inside of the building. So if you have your piece of paper, you can flip it over to the other side and you'll see the building plans. And so the way the building plans work on this paper is the two at the top, that's the ground floor, and the two at the bottom are the basement. And they're the same plan, except for the ones on the left are what you have now, and the ones on the right are what we're proposing. And so if you look at the difference between the right and the left, or the left and the right, you'll see that the ones on the right have a lot more yellow. This area here, see, they're all kind of like way more yellow and orange and stuff like that. And that is because we're taking the ground space and the basement space and we're making a lot more tenant space. So we're making a lot more community space for you folks to be in and to gather in and to do things in. And we'll walk through what those spaces are now. So we'll start with this very exciting thing that is the pool. I'm sure you all know about this mythical underground pool, and some of you may have actually seen this empty old pool in the basement. But it's a big space in the basement that right now is just sitting empty. And so we're proposing, this is where the pool is gray in the now plan, and it's going to become yellow. So we're proposing that we're going to turn it into a big activity room. So we're going to fill in the pool with a floor so it's all one level. And then you'll be able to do like some like gym classes there. You can gather, you can hang out, you can watch movies there. It's really good. You can do concerts, things like that. So there's the pool. And then beside the pool, we're planning to put a new gym. And so that gym will have all the equipment. It's bigger than the gym that you have now, but it'll have all the equipment. So you can work out in the gym, or you could have like larger yoga or aerobics classes in the activity area. And then adjacent to that, we also have a computer room and a library where you can set up computers, and then that will be available to tenants to use, as well as having a bunch of washrooms down here, because that's really important to be able to use the washroom, especially when you're working out and doing all this stuff. And so we're gonna have a washroom down there too, and a universal washroom as well. Right across from the elevators, when you get down into the basement, instead of coming out of the elevators and seeing a wall, you're gonna come out of the elevators and see glass space into your brand new large community room. And so this new community room in the basement is gonna be about the same size as the community room you have now. And just to give you a sense of the size. And it'll be a space that you can rent out for birthday parties, or you can do other events in, or that can be used by service providers or art classes or all sorts of things. The other part of the basement, the other big sections of the basement, we're planning to put a dedicated art room, as well as some community health services. And so we've heard about how there used to be a foot doctor and a dentist and other people that used to be able to come into Oak Street to work with residents. And we realized that they were not able to keep coming because they didn't have the right kind of room. You know, they need a room with like a sink and table and like some stuff specific to what they do. And so we're proposing to make those rooms in these spaces here. And Adam can talk more about this type of stuff after. If we go up to the ground floor, so if you're watching the slides, we're showing just an image of the outside of the building and where the front door is. And we all know that your community room that you have now is, you know, it's a nice room. It's got great windows and it's got nice finishes, but it's a little bit crowded. You know, if you've come to one of our meetings or any meeting there, or the breakfast club there, you know that you kind of get squished into one room or the other, and it's kind of a bit of a difficult space for a building with like 600 people that live in it. And so we looked at that and we said, you know what this building needs? This building needs a brand new addition stuck on the outside of it. That is one big, huge room that has lots of windows and lots of lights that people can go to and hang out in, and you can do larger community events, and you can have really good meals in. And so that's what we're proposing with this plan. So the existing floor plate, the existing room on the ground floor looks like this, and we're proposing a brand new addition just popped out the side. And so that addition is going to be in that grass space in the sort of the front of the building. You know, the grass space with all the trees, that's where that addition is going to go. And it's going to tie into those rooms that are right now the coda room. The coda room and the art room, those rooms are going to just become part of this new addition so that it's a really big space. On either side of this big new addition, we're going to have a commercial kitchen so that you can run real meal programs if you like. You can have services, and you'll be able to do a lot more with your kitchen and with people like that. And then, or with different services like that. And then on the other side of the multi-purpose room, we're going to have a TV room, a TV and activity room, which is also there, which is just a smaller hangout space for people. Across the hallway from that, where your laundry room is now, we're proposing to put a new waste and recycling room so that you can recycle without going into that funny little stairwell. and trying to lift up something over your head into one of the bins. There's going to be a new recycling room with bins that you can put things in that's barrier free, and the new hub. In the back
that room will be completely accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the back of the building, where the community room is now and the education room and the office, we're changing that up to put the laundry room there, so that the laundry room has a lot of transparency from the hallway to the outside. One of the big things we wanted to do on all of the interior work, on all the work inside the building, was to make it so that if you're in the hallway, you can see into the rooms before you go. You can see what's going on in there. It's easy to get in and out. There's 2 doors. There's one door in and one door out all the time, so that there's always a place to go out if you don't want to be there with somebody else. And that the hallways themselves become a bit wider, so that there's enough turning radius for people and it's not quite so cramped and small. You know, we're trying to make the ground floor and the basement feel more open, which is hard when you have a big concrete building. But one of the ways we're doing this is removing a lot of the interior walls and replacing them with glass and things like that, so that you can see in and so that you can see space and so that it feels more open. And it's safer too, because then you can see sort of what's going on. And so in the community room that you have now, we're going to have a better, bigger open laundry space, and also a little space that can be used by a social enterprise. And so that could be like a cafe, or it could be a bike repair shop, or it could be anything that you want. And it would be great if we had some more input and some more ideas about what that could be. There's a space for that, as well as some space for CODA on the side as well. Or not on the side, in that space as well, so that CODA is right there on the ground floor. Around the front entrance, we're going to put a brand new e-bike storage room right across from the mailroom, so that you don't have to bring your e-bikes upstairs or your other large devices. If you want to keep them downstairs, you can in this locked room. And we're going to try to open up the whole lobby. So we're going to take down some parts of the wall in the lobby so that it's more open. We're going to redo the ramp so that it's not so steep. You don't have to kind of like go down and crank over and crank out. So we're going to try to make that whole entrance a lot better for you and a lot easier to navigate. And in opening it up too, we're hoping to like create more space around the elevators for people waiting for the elevators, so that they're not, there's not always a jam up of people there. And so that's sort of what our ideas were to date. That was from listening to all of the things that you said, and all of the things that our engineers discovered in terms of problems with the building or things that could be better. But mostly this stuff comes from listening to what the residents at 220 Oak Street have told us that they would think would be interesting to have here. Things like an outdoor gym, things like better gyms inside, better community spaces, better spaces for service providers. And so we've tried to put them all into this plan. And so where we are is that we've done a bunch of listening, and now we're presenting back to you our first ideas. This is our first ideas about the ground floor and basement and the outside. And then this winter, we're going to present to you our ideas about what the building will look like and what's going to happen in your apartment. And then after that, we have a whole mountain of drawings to do and a whole bunch of details to figure out, right? Like we still have to figure out, you know, what the flooring is going to be, and like what the paint colors are going to be, and where exactly the door is going to go, and how many computers can we actually put in the computer room, and all that type of detail still has to be worked out. And we look forward to working it out and then showing it to you as we work it out, and helping develop it. But there's a whole bunch of more work that has to happen. And then after that, then it'll go into tender and permitting and construction that will come after all of that detail is figured out.
One of the crucial things that we've been trying to do throughout this entire process is try to connect as much as possible with the residents, the users of 220 Oak Street, the people that live there, the people that are there on a day-to-day basis to really understand the life of the building and to understand the pressures that are there. One of the things that is completely evident is that only through a good dialogue are we actually able to move this forward. And through this process, we've tried to have a lot of communication to try and establish that trust and to try and establish that bonds with the community. And we want to continue to have that level of communication as we move through this process. We are going to be having a number of other meetings along the way, updates, and we want to hear from you to understand how, what are our challenges, what are our problems, what are we doing right, what can we do more of, so that we can try to ease this process along. It will be hard. Any great change will not be easy. And so with that, we want to try to make sure that we're with the residents and the groups in that building to try and facilitate a good change throughout the way, throughout the process. And so during that construction, we're going to try to stage the construction in a way that is respectful of tenants, that allows tenants a place to seek refuge or have a bit of a reprieve from any kind of construction or any kind of commotion as we move through this, because we know how difficult and trying this is for everybody involved. And so I think that only by having more meetings, more updates, are we actually going to be able to do that. And so again, we have a couple of portals that you could actually connect up with us. Obviously, there's the comment card that was provided. There's also the email address 220renewal@torontohousing.ca. There's also a phone number. That phone number is a direct number for 220 Renewal. 416-981-4030. 416-981-4030. You'll be able to connect up with that and get into the squawk box, if you will. So we know that it's not going to be easy, but we hope that we can try to mitigate this with a little bit more communication. And then so with that, what's the next slide up there? There we go. The next question is, for the next meeting, is going to be in the winter. We have your unit, your apartment. What are the changes coming in there? 1, 2. What's the building going to look like? Who knows? Let's find out. And then in the meantime, please connect up with us. If you don't know where the drop box is, or where the drop box is for your card, you can talk to Miguel. He's already found it today, and he sent me a picture of it, so we had to include that in the presentation. So Miguel, thank you.
Please do not forget to like, comment, and share to our channel. Follow us on all our social media platforms. And for more information, please check out our website.